She waited 10 years for him, and when he came back, he married her best friend. Watch this story to find out what happened next. I am Christy, Midnight Tales. Katangua village in Ghana was the kind of place where the mornings smelled of wet earth and firewood, and the evenings carried the sound of distant drums. Everybody knew everybody. If you cried in one house, 3 compounds away, someone would already be asking why. That was where Emefa was born. She grew up barefoot on red soil, her laughter echoing through narrow footpaths lined with cassava farms. And right beside her, almost like her second shadow, was her childhood best friend, Adwoa. Adwoa and Emefa were inseparable. They bathed at the stream together, fetched water together, shared roasted corn under the mango tree, and whispered about their future husbands before they even understood what love truly meant. In Katangua, people used to joke that whoever married one would have to accommodate the other. If you marry and leave me, I will follow you, Adwoa would say dramatically. And I'll tell your husband all your childhood secrets, Emefa would reply, laughing. Their bond was pure. Or, at least, it felt pure. One Tuesday afternoon, the sun was high and merciless when Emefa's mother sent her to the market to buy fresh pepper and dried fish. The Katangua market was always noisy. Women shouting prices, babies crying on backs, the sharp smell of smoked fish mixing with ripe plantain. Emefa balanced her small basket carefully as she moved between stalls. She turned quickly at one corner and collided with someone. The basket tilted, peppers scattered across the dusty ground. "Oh, I'm so sorry," a deep male voice said. She bent immediately to gather her things, embarrassed. Another hand reached for the same pepper at the same time. Their fingers touched. She looked up, and that was the first time she saw Emmanuel. His smile was calm, intentional. "I should watch where I'm going," he said gently. "No, it was me," Emefa replied, her voice softer than usual. For a moment, the market noise faded around her. He helped her gather everything and even insisted on paying for the peppers she had already chosen. She tried to refuse. He insisted. "Emmanuel," he said before leaving, "my bicycle repair shop is not so far from the junction." And just like that, something began. He passed by Emefa's house. He offered to walk her back from the stream. He sat outside her compound in the evenings, talking about ambitions, about dreams bigger than village life. Soon, they exchanged phone numbers. That was when the late-night calls began. Calls that started with just 5 minutes and ended at 3 a.m. They talked about everything: childhood stories, fears, ambitions. Adwoa noticed the change immediately. One evening, under their usual mango tree spot, she said, "Emefa, this your Emmanuel is taking you away from me." Emefa laughed. "Jealousy is worrying you." "Me? No, I'm not jealous," she said, turning away her face. One Tuesday afternoon, the sun was high and merciless when Emefa's mother called her into the house urgently. Her uncle from America was on the phone. He wanted her to come over. He had arranged a job for her. She could start a new life. America. The word sounded unreal in her ears. Opportunities like that didn't come twice in Katangua. When she told Adwoa, her best friend screamed and hugged her tightly. "You're leaving me?" Adwoa said dramatically, though her smile didn't fully reach her eyes. "We'll talk every day," Emefa promised. "Nothing will change." When she also told Emmanuel, his face changed immediately. How can I? The word stuck in his mouth. "I promise I won't forget you. When I make money, I'll arrange your coming over." They hugged and she left back home. When she got home, she thought something to herself. What if Emmanuel takes this opportunity? After all, he is the man. He will come back and marry me. When she told Emmanuel, he was marveled. "What? You want me to take the opportunity?" "Yes, Emmanuel. Go. I will wait for you." Preparations were made and Emmanuel left. But what Emefa didn't know was that Emmanuel's journey to abroad would change everything they once shared. After Emmanuel left Katangua village, it felt like the sky itself had shifted. At first, Emefa tried to be strong, but the bond they shared lasted long enough to leave a space for him in her heart. So one afternoon, after staring too long at the dusty road that led out of the village, she made a decision. She would go to the neighboring village, to his family house. If she couldn't have him, at least she could be near what reminded her of him.
When she told her mother, the old woman stopped slicing okra with air. "You want to go and stay with his family?" her mother asked slowly. "Yes, Mama, just until he comes back. It will make it easier." Her mother's eyes carried something heavy, fear maybe, or wisdom that comes from surviving heartbreak. But she only sighed. "If that is what your heart wants, go. But remember, a woman must protect her dignity like gold." Emefa nodded. She thought love was protection enough. When she arrived at Emmanuel's family compound, the house looked bigger than she remembered. Mud walls newly painted, goats tied by the mango tree. His mother stood in the courtyard with arms folded. "You have come?" the woman asked, not smiling. "Yes, ma," Emefa said softly. "I just wanted to stay close until Emmanuel returns." There was a pause, then a small nod. "You can stay, but here, everybody walks." Life there was not the sweet closeness she imagined. She woke before dawn to sweep the entire compound. She fetched water from a stream farther than the one in her own village. She cooked for everyone. She washed clothes until her fingers wrinkled and cracked. And still, it was never enough. "Is this how your mother trained you?" Emmanuel's mother would snap if the soup had too much salt. "You are too slow. You are too quiet. You don't smile enough." Every little thing became a complaint. But Emefa swallowed everything, because every night when her phone rang, she felt it was worth it. At first, Emmanuel called 5 times a day. "Have you eaten? Did my mother treat you well? I miss you." His voice would carry excitement. He would describe tall buildings, snow, roads that shined at night. Then slowly, the calls reduced. 5 times became twice. Twice became once. Once became silence for days. When she called, sometimes it went unanswered. When he finally picked, his voice sounded rushed. "I'm busy, Emefa. Things are hard here. I'll call you back." He didn't call back. No money came for her. But she noticed something. Every month, Emmanuel's mother would receive alerts. Money. Plenty money. The old woman's attitude even improved slightly after those alerts came in. New wrappers appeared. The house roof was repaired. But not once did Emmanuel send even small money to Emefa. Not even to buy soap. She tried to ignore the small crack forming inside her chest. One evening, when the loneliness became too loud, she walked to Katangua to see her childhood friend, Adwoa. Adwoa listened quietly as Emefa explained everything. The reduced calls, the silence, the money sent only to his mother. Adwoa scratched her head. Yeah, sorry, but you know men in America. Maybe he found someone better there." The words dropped like a stone into water. Maybe he found someone better. Emefa laughed immediately. A defensive laugh. "Emmanuel? Never. He promised me." But that night, as she walked back to the neighboring village under the moonlight, the words echoed again. Maybe he found someone better. She began noticing things she ignored before. His WhatsApp picture no longer showed his face. When she asked about it, he said, "Network issues." When she asked for video calls, he said, "Camera spoiled." Then one afternoon, while pounding fufu in the courtyard, she heard laughter from the road outside. 2 women were talking loudly. "Have you heard? Emmanuel is coming back." Her hand froze mid-air. "Coming back?" "Yes, so. They say he's preparing big wedding." The pestle slipped from her hand and hit the ground. Her ears began ringing. Big wedding? She waited for Emmanuel to call her. He didn't. She waited for his mother to mention it. The old woman said nothing. Days passed. Then more whispers reached her. Tailors measuring cloth, family meetings happening at night, goats being priced for slaughter. An elaborate wedding was coming. And she, the girl who washed plates in that house, the girl who defended him when others doubted him, the girl who waited through silence, she heard everything from outsiders, not from him. One evening, she gathered courage and approached his mother. "Ma, I heard Emmanuel is coming back." "Yes," the woman replied calmly, sorting dried maize. "And the wedding?" The woman finally looked up. "You will know what you need to know at the right time." Her voice was cold. That night, Emefa lay on her thin mattress staring at the ceiling. Maybe he wanted to surprise her. Maybe the wedding was for them. Maybe he didn't tell her because he wanted to see her reaction. But why did I hear it from outsiders?
When Emmanuel finally returned to Katangua village, the sun was high and the dust from the untarred road rose gently behind the car that brought him home. People were already whispering, "He's back. After 10 years, America has changed him." Emefa heard it from a little boy who ran past her mother's stall at the market. "Emmanuel is back! Emmanuel is back!" Her heart skipped. Her hands began to shake. She didn't even wait to close the basket of dried fish properly. She ran. She didn't know whether she was smiling or crying. 10 years. 10 whole years of defending him. 10 years of sending him messages. 10 years of telling everyone that love waits. As she got closer to their compound, she saw a small crowd gathered. And then she saw him, Emmanuel, taller, broader, wearing dark sunglasses, looking like someone who had tasted another world. Emmanuel, she called out, breathless. He turned slowly, but he wasn't alone. Standing beside him, too close beside him, was Adwoa, her childhood friend. They were walking side by side like they belonged together. Emefa forced a laugh. "How did you know he was coming back today?" she asked, trying to steady her voice. "Or did you both plan to surprise me?" There was silence, a strange silence. Then Emmanuel removed his sunglasses. "Yes," he said coldly, "I came to surprise you, you cheap girl." Before Emefa could smile fully, he pulled Adwoa closer and he kissed Adwoa gently in front of everyone. The world stopped. The laughter from the crowd sounded far away. The sky felt like it was tilting. Her ears were ringing. "Cheap girl?" Her knees gave way and she collapsed to the ground. Darkness swallowed her. She woke up with a splash of water all over her body. She coughed. Emmanuel's mother stood over her with an empty bucket. "Atanake shawo. God punish you there. You think I don't know you are a witch. From the first day you entered my compound, I knew it. Your spirit did not match mine. Go into that hut and pack all your witchcraft belongings and leave my house this minute." Emefa blinked. "Witch?" Her mouth opened but no words came out. Adwoa stepped forward dramatically, holding Emmanuel's arm like she needed protection. "Yes," Adwoa added, "she is a witch. She has been pretending for years. She chases me in my dreams with a cutlass. She wants to destroy us." The crowd gasped. Emefa's chest tightened. My best friend? The girl who used to share one plate of kenke with me? The girl who slept beside me on cold nights, now calling me a witch? She looked at Emmanuel, but Emmanuel avoided her eyes. "I can't marry you," he said flatly. "You are a witch." 10 years. 10 years of waiting. 10 years of defending him when people said he would never come back. 10 years of turning down proposals. 10 years of telling her mother he will send for me. I will join him in America. And now, this? No, something was wrong. Something had to be wrong. But nobody was listening. They had already chosen a side. She tried to stand, but her legs were weak. The crowd moved away from her like she carried a disease. Children pointed. Women whispered. Witch. She'd bewitched him. That is why he refused to send for her. She felt naked, exposed, alone. She didn't even remember how she left the compound. The road back home felt longer than ever. The same road she had walked proudly so many times now felt like a punishment. Her mother saw her from afar and ran toward her. "Emefa, what happened?" But Emefa couldn't speak. Her heart had shattered quietly. 2 weeks later, drums filled Katangua village. Loud drums, joyful drums, the biggest wedding the village had ever seen. It was held in Adwoa's family compound. Colorful decorations, imported drinks, a big canopy. Even people from neighboring villages came to witness it. They say Emmanuel brought dollars, people whispered. They say Adwoa is lucky. Emefa watched from behind her mother's window. She could hear the music clearly. She could hear the MC shouting their names proudly. Emmanuel and Adwoa. Her name had been erased, just like that. She didn't know how Adwoa got in contact with Emmanuel. She didn't even know how and when they started talking. All she knew was that she waited for Emmanuel for 10 years of her life in vain. Her mother would console her all day and night. "My daughter, don't worry. Your own husband will locate you. He will come and wipe your tears. Don't worry. God will not put you to shame." Emefa got closer to God. She went to church more often, prayed, and stayed away from worldly things. Some people pitied her, some laughed, but she remained strong. After the wedding, they moved into the apartment Emmanuel had rented for 1 year in Katangua, so they could stay and process Adwoa's papers before returning to America. The first few weeks looked like a dream. They drove around the village, visited the local bar almost every weekend, took pictures, laughed loudly, and acted like the world belonged to them. The village women would stare and whisper, "Adwoa is truly blessed," and some even added cruelly, that her friend Emefa is truly a witch. But inside Adwoa, there was no peace. Every compliment pierced her heart because she knew the truth. She knew she lied. She knew she plotted. She knew she stole what was not hers. Guilt sat quietly in her chest, even when she smiled outside. One night, after returning from the local bar, they were both too tired and dizzy. They didn't even bother to check anything properly. They fell on the bed immediately. That same night, a sudden blackout hit Katangua. It was so severe that it burned some people's appliances. Sparks flew in different houses. In Emmanuel and Adwoa's apartment, a tiny spark from the unstable current caught one wire near the sitting room curtain. Because they were too tired and unaware, they did not notice on time. By the time Emmanuel woke up coughing, the room was already filled with smoke. "Adwoa, fire!" he shouted. Panic took over. The curtain had caught fire, then the sofa, then the ceiling board. Smoke covered every corner of the house. They stumbled out barefoot, wearing only their night clothes. They didn't pick anything. They couldn't even see clearly. Within minutes, the entire house was in flames. Neighbors gathered, but nothing could be saved. By morning, everything was gone. His passport, his visa, his travel documents, the money he brought from America, Adwoa's processing papers, their clothes, electronics, everything had turned to ash. They were left with nothing but the clothes they ran out with. That fire was not just an accident, it was the beginning of their downfall. With nowhere else to go, they returned to Emmanuel's family house. At first, his mother pretended to be understanding, but hunger and frustration soon changed her tone. Few days later, she began to complain loudly. "I cannot keep feeding two grown adults," she would say. "You people should go and look for work. Marriage is not about eating and sleeping." The same house that once celebrated their union now felt tight and uncomfortable. Emmanuel struggled to find something meaningful to do. The respect he once commanded had faded, and Adwoa, who was used to soft living and attention, could not endure the pressure. One afternoon, after another argument about money and responsibility, she packed her small bag. "I cannot stay with a man who cannot take proper care of me," she said coldly. Emmanuel tried to speak, but she had already made up her mind. She walked away, leaving him standing in the compound, broken and confused. While all of this was happening, something entirely different was unfolding in Emefa's life. After months of tears and healing under her mother's care, she slowly began to rebuild herself. One day, her mother insisted she attend a function in town. She didn't feel like going, but she obeyed. That was where she met barrister Ekpema, a respected and well-established barrister based overseas. He was calm, composed, and intentional with his words. Not flashy, not noisy, but his presence commanded quiet respect. They started talking that evening, and the conversation felt natural. No pressure, no pretense. He later made his intentions clear. He was looking for a wife, not a game, not a distraction, but a serious partner. Within a few months, he came with his people. Everything moved quickly, but this time it was dignified. The whole of Katangua witnessed Emefa's wedding. It was beautiful and organized. Souvenirs were shared generously. Food was more than enough. People went home smiling and satisfied. There was no gossip this time, only admiration. And among the workers hired to maintain order and security was Emmanuel. Barrister Ekpema had hired different laborers and security men to ensure everything ran smoothly, and he paid them well. Emmanuel had no choice but to accept the job. Hunger does not respect pride. Dressed in a security uniform, he stood at the gate controlling entry. At one point, Emefa stepped out of her car, glowing in her bridal attire. Their eyes met briefly. She did not insult him. She did not mock him. She simply walked past him as if he was a stranger. That silence cut deeper than any words. As the ceremony continued, Adwoa appeared at the gate, looking restless and desperate. She attempted to walk in confidently, but one of the security men stopped her. "Madam, show your appointment ticket." She scoffed. "Appointment ticket? She is my best friend." The security man replied firmly, "I'm sorry, ma. Without a ticket, you cannot enter. If you don't step back, I will have to remove you." She stood there, shocked and embarrassed, watching the celebration from outside the gate. The same village that once praised her now watched her from a distance. Life had completed its cycle.
By the end of the event, Emmanuel collected his payment quietly and walked home alone. The noise of celebration faded behind him, leaving only the sound of his own regrets. The lesson in all of this is simple. Never build your happiness on another person's tears. Betrayal may look like victory at first, but it never ends in peace. What you take through deceit will eventually slip through your fingers. Emefa cried, yes, but she did not allow bitterness to consume her. She healed, she grew, and she chose patience over revenge. In the end, time defended her without her lifting a finger. And sometimes the greatest revenge is becoming everything they never believed you could be.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful story. If you did, please kindly subscribe to our channel, drop a nice comment and like as well. Your support helps us to do more. I am Christy Midnight Tales. Till we see again in my next story. Bye.